I guess my history with TMH starts further back than even the 31 years, because a few years before that, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at Tallahassee Memorial. I had such a good experience when I was first diagnosed, and I thought, well, it was difficult finding out you had diabetes, and once I learned I wasn't going to die, I wanted to do everything I can to still meet all my goals, go to school, have a job, have a family, and through that support with the initial education and then my group of friends at college afterwards, I was able to do that. So it was a career goal for me to be able to work in the diabetes department once it opened. So I did come and work in the diabetes department starting in 1993, I think. And back then, there was no insulin pumps, there was no sensors, things that we use right now is very commonplace for people with diabetes. It was insulin injections, and it was hard. The insulins and things that we had mean you had to change your lifestyle to match whatever insulin medication regimen that you were on. And then in the 20 or so years since then, we've had a lot of development with insulin pumps, with glucose sensors. There's just the technology has been really a game changer for people with diabetes. I think also beyond the technology and the medical side of things, people are still people, children are still children, families are still families, and they still need the support. Despite all these medication changes and technology changes, there's still a need for support. I think having those people working in a system that connects the dots and stays in touch with the families helps them feel like they can do this, that it will be okay. It's going to be more challenging, but we can do this because we have support. There are very few programs out there that work with patients with diabetes, and particularly type 1 diabetes. Our program here is one of a kind. So supporting TL for Tots and the events that we have really helps these events to continue to happen and to be a resource both now, this year, but also in the future for them.
This was my first time going to the Florida Diabetes Camp as an attending, which means is that one of the medical personnel is supervising all the diabetes care going on for our children. And we had a lot of new children who had actually been recently diagnosed. So it was a great experience to see them know that they're not alone and that they had somebody else that they can relate to. There was a lot of staff who had also type 1 diabetes, and so seeing adults who were managing their diabetes kind of told them like, oh, this is something that not just me, it's just something that I can, grow up and be a functional adult.
What I would say to people in the community about supporting TL for Tots and children and family with diabetes is that it's been decades that it's been going, and these kids have graduated, they've gone on to have families, some have worked in the medical field. They're thriving with diabetes, and it is not like that everywhere in the country. So I think, we've been able to be an example for other places, but also really help the people in our region through the funds generated through this fundraiser, but also through the events that we've been able to create because of that. It's very gratifying to be able to give back in that way of, somebody helped me when I was at that point, and then, I became the helper for other people, and then over time, on a larger scale to help more people in our region feel like they have hope with diabetes.